My child, the end has begun in your life, and you are still not prepared for it. Give complete attention to these words, for your presence here is not by accident. I orchestrated your steps toward this message, for you need to know about it. The seasons that once felt endless have begun to fold into one another, and the cycles you thought would repeat forever are quietly coming to a close. You have sensed this shift within yourself, though you could not name it. You have felt the stirring, the unease, the quiet knowing that something is changing. And now I speak to you so you will not be overtaken by fear or confusion. I do not desire that you walk blindly into what is unfolding. I desire that you walk with understanding, with discernment, and with a heart anchored in me. You have asked me many times, what must I do? What is expected of me? What is coming next? And though you thought your questions were unanswered, I have been guiding you quietly, preparing you in ways you did not see. The evidence surrounds you, in the discomfort that pushed you away from what no longer served you, in the ending of relationships that once defined you, in the collapse of plans you built apart from me, in the tug within your spirit that refused to let you settle for the life you were living. These were not punishments but awakenings. For too long you have walked with divided focus, one foot in the world that drains you, and one foot in the calling that beckons you. You have tried to satisfy both, but the time for such living has come to an end. I am drawing you fully into the life that bears my imprint, not the life shaped by fear, expectation, or habit, but the life that flows from truth, purpose, and surrender. Do not fear the word end. Every end I permit is only the doorway to what you were truly made for. You have clung to seasons long after their grace has lifted. You held tightly to things that were meant only to be stepping stones. When I tried to loosen your grasp gently, you tightened it. When I whispered that your time in certain places was complete, you doubted the whisper. But now I speak clearly. It is time to release what I have not asked you to keep. You struggle with releasing because you confuse loss with failure. But hear me, nothing surrendered to me is ever lost. I take what you release and transform it. I take what you give to me and return it to you multiplied, purified, or replaced entirely with something that aligns with your true purpose. You cannot become who you are meant to be while holding on to what was only meant for who you once were. You ask me for transformation, yet resist the process. Transformation is not gentle, it reshapes. Transformation is not convenient, it rearranges. Transformation is not passive, it demands your participation. And now I am calling you into the transformation you prayed for, even if you did not understand what that prayer required. Do not be distracted by the noise around you. The world is loud, and its loudness is designed to drown out the quiet leading of my spirit in you. You have sought answers in the noise, advice, validation, signs, assurances, but the answers you seek have always been within, in the place where I speak. Return to the stillness you once knew. Return to the intimacy you drifted from. Return to the trust that once carried you through battles far greater than the ones you face now. You are entering a period of unveiling. What has been hidden in your heart will be revealed. Your strengths, long buried under self-doubt, will rise. Your wounds, long ignored, will come to the surface so they may finally be healed. Your calling, once faint, will become undeniable, and the connections meant for your next season will begin to draw near you, not by your effort, but by my design. But to step into this newness, you must first allow the old to fall away. You cannot carry everything with you. You cannot keep every voice, every habit, every fear, every identity that was shaped by experiences I never intended to define you. You must learn the sacred art of letting go, not with despair, but with reverence. For letting go is not the act of losing, it is the act of making room. You have believed that preparation means gathering, acquiring, building. But in this moment of your life, preparation means releasing, simplifying, and clearing space within your mind and spirit. If your hands are full, where will I place the blessings prepared for you? If your heart is cluttered, how will you discern my voice? If your identity is tied to who you were, how will you become who you are destined to be? You fear emptiness, but emptiness is where I do my greatest work. You fear silence, but silence is where you hear me most clearly. You fear stillness, but stillness is where your true strength is forged. The end in your life is not destruction, it is divine pruning. I prune not to harm, but to make room for fruitfulness. I remove not to punish, but to heal. I close doors not to confine you, but to redirect you. I shake foundations not to make you fall, but to rebuild you on truth that cannot be moved. You think you are unprepared, but that is because you measure readiness by clarity, certainty, and confidence. My preparation looks different. I prepare you by positioning your heart, not your plans. I prepare you by refining your character, not by revealing every step ahead. I prepare you by detaching you from everything that cannot come with you into what I am building. You keep looking backwards, toward the failures you regret, the places you outgrew, the people who misunderstood you, the moments you cannot change. But I am not behind you. I am ahead of you, calling you forward. You cannot see what I have prepared if your gaze is fixed on what has already passed. Lift your eyes, lift your expectations, lift your faith. Do not mourn the ending of this season. Instead, honor it. Celebrate the lessons it taught you, the resilience it revealed in you, the growth it produced within you. But do not anchor yourself to it. You were made to evolve, to expand, to rise. You were not created to repeat the same patterns or remain in the same emotional landscapes. You were created to move with me, and I do not stand still. This next chapter of your life will require courage, the courage to trust what you cannot yet see, the courage to walk away from what is familiar but no longer life-giving, the courage to believe that you are worthy of the good I am preparing for you, the courage to step into the identity I crafted before you were formed. I know you doubt yourself, but I do not. I know every weakness you perceive in yourself, and I know every strength you overlook. I know every wound you hide and every longing you bury. I know the battles you fight in the silence. I know the questions you are afraid to ask. I know the desires you dismiss as impossible. And still I call you. Still I choose you. Still I prepare a path for you. You are not an accident of time or circumstance. You are an intentional creation, formed with purpose, marked with destiny. The events of your life have not disqualified you. They have shaped you. The mistakes you made did not destroy the plan. They deepened your compassion and humbled your spirit. The pain you endured did not break you. It purified you. The delays did not deny you. They protected you. Everything has brought you to this moment, and this moment is not the end, but the threshold. Step forward with a willing heart. Let me lead. Let me reshape your understanding. Let me redefine your relationships. Let me align your steps with the path that was always meant for you. You do not have to know the way. You only need to trust the one who guides you. My child, the end has begun. Not the end of your hope, not the end of your purpose, not the end of your story, but the end of everything that was too small for what I am about to do in your life. The end of fear-driven decisions. The end of settling. The end of carrying burdens I never placed on you. The end of living beneath your calling. The end of shrinking to make others comfortable. The end of doubting your worth. The end of believing that your past defines you. My child, hear me as I speak gently yet firmly, for my words hold the weight of eternal truth. I speak not to burden you, but to awaken you, not to condemn you, but to elevate your understanding, not to frighten you, but to anchor you. What I am unfolding in your life aligns with patterns I have shown throughout Scripture, for I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. The movements of your life echo the journeys I have taken my people through since the beginning of time, and as I speak of the end that has begun, know that this ending aligns with the holy rhythm through which I have always transformed my sons and daughters. You stand now at a crossing place, much like my servant Abraham when I called him out of a land he knew, away from everything familiar, into a promise he had not yet seen. I did not give Abraham explanations. I gave him a direction. I did not give him clarity for every step. I gave him a command to walk with me. And in the same way I call you out of what is known, not because the known is evil, but because it is too small for the covenant I am establishing with you. You have lingered in the land of familiarity long enough. Now I speak the same words I spoke to Abraham. Go from your country, your people, your father's household. Go from the patterns, identities, and expectations that have shaped you, and walk toward the life I will show you. You do not see the fullness yet, but Abraham did not either. You question your worthiness, but Abraham questioned too. You wonder if you heard me clearly, but Abraham also wondered. Yet through his obedience, generations were blessed. And through your obedience in this season, blessings will flow in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Your journey is not only about you, it is about the countless lives connected to your transformation. When you shift, others around you will shift. When you align, others around you will find alignment. When you surrender, others will finally say yes to their own calling. And as I called Moses to stand before what seemed immovable, I call you to face the obstacles that rise before you. Moses did not feel prepared. He told me he was slow of speech, unqualified, insufficient. And I answered him simply, I will be with you. I speak those same words over your heart now. You look at your past and see failure. You look at your flaws and see inadequacy. You look at your circumstances and see impossibility. But I look at you and see purpose. I look at your weakness and see a place for my strength. I look at your story and see my glory woven through every chapter. Moses could not open the Red Sea, yet he was the one I called to stretch out his hand. You cannot open every door, shift every situation, or solve every problem, yet I ask you to stretch your faith before me. I do what you cannot. You do what I ask. Together we make a way where there was none. The end you face is not a wall. It is a sea ready to part at the sound of my command. But to walk forward, you must stop clinging to Egypt. You carry memories, patterns, and emotional residues that have no place in the land I have promised you. I removed my people from Egypt, but it took much longer to remove Egypt from their hearts. They longed for familiarity even when it enslaved them. You too have longed for what once held you captive, not because it was good, but because it was known. Let this be the season when the chains fall not only from your circumstances, but from your thinking, your expectations, and your identity. Remember my servant Elijah, who stood against darkness and prevailed, yet later hid in fear beneath the broom tree. Even the strongest, the most faithful, the most courageous have moments of collapse, moments of exhaustion, moments when they feel the end has come. Elijah felt alone, but I reminded him he was not. I fed him, strengthened him, and whispered to him, not in the wind, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in a gentle whisper. My child, do not expect my guidance only in grand signs. Expect me in the quiet, in the stillness, in the moments when you believe I am silent. It is in the whisper that I place the deepest revelations. You too have felt overwhelmed like Elijah. You have felt as though you have given all you had and still fallen short. You have questioned your purpose, your strength, your path. But I tell you now, rise and eat, for the journey ahead of you is great. You cannot complete this journey in your own strength, but with my strength you will rise, endure, and prevail. Elijah thought his story was ending, yet I brought him into a new anointing and a new generation, and I am doing the same with you. Your ending mirrors the wilderness of my people, but it also mirrors their promised entrance into a land flowing with milk and honey. Do not fear the wilderness. It is the place where I draw you close. It is where you learn to trust me, not because of abundance, but because of dependence. It is where you learn that your survival does not come from the bread you strive for, but from every word that proceeds from my mouth. The wilderness strips away illusions and reveals truth. It reveals the condition of your heart. And once your heart is aligned, I bring you into promise, not a promise built on striving, but a promise built on faith. As Joshua stood on the threshold of promise, I told him, "Be strong and courageous." Why? Because good things also require courage. You believe courage is only needed to face battles, but courage is also needed to receive blessing. Courage is needed to rise into identity. Courage is needed to step into destiny. You have asked me to prepare you for greater things, and I am doing exactly that. I am strengthening your inner man, aligning your spirit, and equipping you with a courage you did not know you possessed. Look also to David, my servant who was overlooked by men but chosen by me. You too have been overlooked, dismissed, or underestimated by those who judged only what they could see. But I do not choose based on outward appearance. I choose based on the heart I crafted within you. David did not see himself as a king when I anointed him. He saw himself as a shepherd, and yet kingship was already stamped upon his destiny. You may not see the fullness of what I have placed in you, but I see it clearly. Do not disqualify yourself because you cannot yet see what I see. My anointing precedes your understanding. David's path to kingship was not immediate. He faced battles, opposition, and seasons of hiding. You also have undergone seasons where it seemed everything was against you, where your progress paused, where the path grew dark. But even in those places, I trained your hands for war and your fingers for battle. I taught you resilience, worship, and trust. I taught you to seek me not only when the throne was near, but when the cave surrounded you. And because you sought me in the cave, you will recognize me in the palace. Consider my prophet Jeremiah, who felt too young and too unprepared for the calling I placed upon him. Yet before he was formed in the womb, I had already set him apart. His doubts did not alter my purpose, and yours do not alter mine. I touched Jeremiah's mouth and placed my words upon his lips. In the same way, I place my wisdom, my discernment, and my courage within you. You say you are not ready, but readiness is not defined by your assessment of yourself. It is defined by my choosing. Jonah ran from his assignment, but I pursued him, not to punish him, but to realign him. When you have strayed, I have pursued you. When you ran from the path because it felt heavy, I did not abandon you. I redirected you, protected you, and guided you back to purpose. Nothing you have done disqualifies you from what I will do. My mercy does not abandon my mission. My compassion does not cancel my calling. And consider the story of Job, who lost everything and believed the end had come upon him. His grief was deep, his questions many, his pain overwhelming. But I was shaping something beyond his comprehension, a restoration that would exceed his former days. The end he experienced was not the end I had written, and the end you perceive is not the end of your story either. I allow certain things to fall so better things may rise. I allow certain relationships to fade so new ones may align. I allow certain structures to collapse so I may rebuild upon a firmer foundation. Look also at Daniel, who stood firm when the world around him bowed to idols. You too feel the pressure of conformity, the pull of compromise, the temptation to blend into what does not align with my truth. But like Daniel, you are called to stand apart, not with arrogance but with conviction. And in your steadfastness, I will exalt you. In your integrity, I will promote you. In your faithfulness, even within adversity, my glory will shine through your life. Like Esther, you have been positioned not by accident, but by design. You have come into your current place for such a time as this. You question why you were placed in certain environments, why certain doors opened or closed, why certain people entered or exited your life. But everything has worked to position you for a moment that will require courage, discernment, and influence. You are being prepared not only for personal transformation, but for impact that extends beyond your own life. My child, understand also that your journey mirrors my son. Before Jesus stepped into his ministry, he experienced the wilderness. Before he rose in power, he endured the cross. Before he ascended in glory, he descended into the depths. And so your path contains suffering, refining, and testing, not as punishment, but as preparation. You share in his sufferings, not to be broken, but to be strengthened. And you will share in his resurrection life, the life of overcoming, the life of authority, the life of purpose fulfilled. You stand now in your own Gethsemane moment, the moment of surrender. Jesus asked if the cup could pass, yet also said, "Not my will, but yours be done." And as you face your ending, your prayer mirrors his. You long for a different path, yet you feel the pull of divine purpose drawing you forward. This moment of surrender is the doorway to transformation. Through surrender, you will rise into the fullness I have prepared for you. Your resurrection will not look like your past. It will not resemble old patterns or familiar frameworks. It will be entirely new. For behold, I make all things new, not some things, not a few things, but all things. The end occurring in your life is the end required for newness to begin. You cannot hold on to the old and expect the new to manifest. Release, and you will rise. My child, I speak all of this to anchor your spirit, to steady your heart, and to prepare your mind. You are not walking into darkness. You are walking into revelation. You are not facing destruction. You are facing transformation. The biblical patterns I have shown through the ages are the patterns through which I now lead you. I guided Abraham, Moses, Elijah, David, Jeremiah, Esther, Daniel, and I guide you with the same faithfulness, the same intentionality, the same love. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not unprepared. You are not unseen. You are not forgotten. The end has begun, but this end is holy, ordained, and filled with purpose. What falls away was never meant to remain. What remains will be strengthened. What emerges will carry my glory. I bless you.